Monday, January 12th. We're going to start our Parks Commission regular meeting at 6:30.
Okay, Chair Valdez. Vice Chair Craig.
Here.
Myself, Susan Lance, Commissioner Stanley, you, Commissioner Remington.
Here.
Commissioner Sarafin.
Here.
And Mike Wrench.
Has resigned.
Okay. Non-voting ex officio Leah Voss and Michelle Runty, I think both not going to be here tonight. And Kevin Schlater.
Here.
All right.
Principal Planner X.
Present.
Perfect. And we'll do the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty. First thing on the list would be the citizen comment period starting at 6:32. This would be your time to come up with first citizen comment period. Okay. So that opened at 6:32 and closed at 6:32. So update on parks and maintenance then. Oh, I'm sorry. Approval of minutes from December 8th of 2025.
I move to approve.
I second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those not in favor? Motion. All right. Now back to it. Sorry. Update on parks maintenance.
It's wintertime, so it's just general cleanup stuff. Big going on.
What's the matter at Ken Wendell?
Roof is
Nothing's being done with the firehouse?
yeah. It's they did all the cleanup work.
Oh.
But it's got to get redone. You know.
Okay, so after that, then community event engagement. So the Arbor Day looks like to be the next thing that we'll be talking about. The proposed date selection of trees and discussion of partner organizations.
Yep, and the city forester is here, so at the tree selection list, I think there's quite a few different things to go over, but Commissioner Sarafin, separately in your agenda are several newsletter items. One which is what the city has traditionally published, one which the library board reviewed, and one which is unrelated to Arbor Day, but you guys might want to also put in the newsletter. So we can talk about that if you want to take the agenda out of order, but then city forester for the trees. He's here for the trees.
So is that under Arbor Day, or is there a separate one for trees?
That's under Arbor Day.
Okay.
Typically, it's always been the first Saturday in May, so maybe a second. 10 until noon at the library in conjunction with the citywide cleanup event that a lot of the school clubs groups volunteered for to get community service hours. Kind of a combined thing. They come and pick up their bags, buckets, and trash pickers. Them come in the library, and we hand out the trees for them as well. So there should be a list that everyone has as far as what's available for tree species this year. Last year we had 4 bundles of trees and 2 bundles of shrubs. Last year we had white cedars, white spruce, river birch, sugar maple, American hazelnuts, 9 barks. This year they do not have 9 barks available. Typically the white cedars are the first one to go. Jason's been there handy, kind of knows what the hot items are.
How many can we pick? I mean, don't we normally pick some? Or
Usually,
ask
yeah,
for some?
usually there's like 6 bundles, so
Or have
usually
you
it's
already done that?
How many are in a bundle?
25 per bundle.
I said, are you wanting our input on what?
Yeah,
to pick?
yeah,
Sure, okay.
yeah. That's why you came to that list out.
I'd like to see the false indigo if we could get that,
Boston.
and the pagoda dogwood. Did we do silky or pagoda last time?
We didn't have any dogwood last time.
Let's do
I would
one.
recommend dogwoods because they're really easy to transfer and kind of familiar with them.
And then I'm fine also with the white cedar. I think people did like that, but
That was very popular.
and we did river birch last year. Didn't we?
Yes, correct.
That one had to be
It was popular, and I just feel like there's so much wet area around here that something that does well with wet feed is a good option.
Yeah, the oaks are kind of a hard sell because people think of acorns and making a mess in their yards. Those aren't popular. But
Well, the
sugar
other was
maple's
the
always
height.
popular.
The size of the plant.
Yeah,
A lot
not
of
too. They're always
people
worried
don't-
with the height.
They don't have.
Even though it might take several years to get that way, they're always afraid of a big tree.
Yeah. Hazelnut's nice too.
And both dogwoods last year?
We had no dogwoods last year. I would almost aim for the pagoda dogwood because it does better in the wet soil.
What I have, river birch, false indigo, pagoda dogwood, and white cedar would be my picks.
I think a lot of those would be really popular, especially because, like you said, about having plants that are going to thrive in wet, really moist soils. That because we are a very moist land. It's good.
Well, the snowberry is new.
Yeah, that's a new one.
How do you feel about that?
Be fine. It would do fine in this area. Handles the heavy clay soils.
What color are the berries?
White
Get it.
and deer resistant.
So are you talking 6 bundles of shrubs, 6 bundles of trees?
Last year we only did 6 total. Shrubs and trees.
So we were gonna do.
That's 5 if we do
White-
the ones I picked. And
So was it white
snowberry.
pine?
I didn't hear.
What was yours again?
I picked, if you start on this, river birch, false indigo, pagoda dogwood, and we have the snowberry on that side too, and then in the back, white cedar.
So we need one more.
About snowberry.
We added that
It's
one.
new.
We
You
added
added
it.
that.
There's
Yeah.
still one more. Maybe from the broadleaf trees,
Yeah.
like a black cherry. We've done black walnut and virtual. Yeah,
I don't know. These are
We got
kind of
them in
squirrels
our
do a good job of that.
I will dig them up.
Yeah, me too.
That black cherry's a smaller tree. I mean, when I done the
40
Arbor
feet.
Day, you guys can speak to this maybe better than me if you've done it longer, but it is height. They just say I don't have space in my yard for a 80-foot tree or for a
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
75-foot. And we tend to get a lot of the same people come back year after year and they want their trees.
Yeah, I think going with a smaller broadleaf would probably be our best bet.
Yeah, let's go with black cherry then.
Yeah, I'd either do that or do another evergreen because those are most popular. Either way.
I think the black cherry would probably be better, and it may even Resultant pies down the road.
I think that was 7 of them.
So River Birch,
4, 5, 6.
False Indigo, Snowberry,
We'll go to Dogwood.
Dogwood,
Oh, we're doing the hazelnut or not?
Oh. Take that one.
All right.
White cedar and black cherry.
We'll get those ordered up.
beautiful.
Thank you.
And May 2nd, what was the time
May
again?
2nd, 10 a.m. to 12. And typically I try to get there about a half hour early.
Okay.
Encourage anyone else to as well because set up and start packaging and bakes.
Okay.
There's the line people use 15 minutes early.
Well, I am glad you're here because I actually we needed to, we kind of talked about as a commission expanding this, and we spoke with the library, and we want to expand the Arbor Day to not just be DPW and us, and they're all for it as well. So they're going to give us space in the parking lot, and we're going to put an article in this newsletter that is opening up for other organizations or nonprofit or businesses in the Franklin area that can demonstrate that they relate in some way to Arbor Day to have or host a table. So we have Malik's already jumped in and said we want one, the Milwaukee Area Land Conservancy.
Oh, sure, yeah, I think they've been there a few times.
They've been there before.
Yeah, and Root Pipeline, I think, has been in the past. Last year, Franklin Health Department was handling some stuff.
Okay, so if you want to let them know that too, great. The other one is Wild Ones has said that they want to come and do a table and some interpretive stuff for the kids for Arbor Day, or geared towards kids, I guess you could say. And then we are going to allow anybody to contact me through Marion if they're interested, if their group's interested. And so sometime in March, I think we'll regroup with everybody and find out how many tables we have and the library, where we'll be. It's still rain or shine because Jennifer at the library said she would reserve the Fallon room, the indoor.
Fadro.
Fadro. I was trying to
Fadro,
remember
yeah.
the Fadro room. So we were going to do, but same times. They could set up as early as 9, and then it would be 10 to 12, like you said. And then as a commission, one of the things that I would like to focus on is buckthorn. The library has a tool for removing the buckthorn that they rent out.
Okay.
They said they can't keep it in.
No, I believe it, yeah.
So she said if I remind her like a month in advance, she'll make sure that it is available for people can see what it is and know that they have it. And then Weir has 2 of them that I guess that they also rent out. So I was going to dig up a buckthorn and bring it out.
It's not hard to find. I could do that too.
I have a bazillion in my. Yeah. I mean, if you want to do it,
Yeah.
fine. Otherwise, I think it's helpful to show people this is what it is. And
Yeah.
I just dug this up yesterday. This is what it looks like right now. Because that's one of the biggest problems that we have is people they're not confident in their identification.
Yeah, we always have the literature too of the different flyers. DNR puts out quite a few copies of this.
The other thing that I would be interested from you too is, have you ever done the girdling? And how big of a space on buckthorn would you have to girdle? I'm not familiar with that because either we pull it out with the root or we treat it with the stump.
Yeah, if we're getting a saw, we're cutting it.
And then you're going to spray it.
Yeah.
Because I went to a talk at Weir yesterday, and they were talking about, or Saturday, they were talking about he had girdled around it, and it was still alive. And I was thinking, well, yeah, it's hard to kill that stuff. And the guy said if you take a full foot off from here to here and strip all that bark, by the time you're done that, whack it and spot spray. I mean, but this is also people who maybe don't want to use chemicals or looking for.
That's probably more of it too, because there's some chemicals that I've even tried it with smaller ones. You just paint the stem of it, absorbs it and kills it. Then you still have the problem. You have that push basically slightly
Ugly.
as live.
Yeah. But maybe if we could show physically some of those things, just so people can, because if you say girdle a tree, how many of you guys are going to understand what that means?
Or they think it's one little zip
But-
around there with a knife or a chainsaw, and it's like this is.
So
Use
for an
it in the process.
educational thing, yeah. And then are you going to give us the report on where your buckthorn was? Or are you going to put that in the, where your buckthorn removal was concentrated at? I know you had come to a previous meeting.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of time to do any of this year yet, but I think, we want to focus on the police department, the back row there, and the bank.
I think you should, if you, because then people understand, like, our DPW, you guys have spent a lot of time getting rid
Yeah, it
of
was about
buckthorn.
400 some hours last year, probably even more than that. Even.
So could you put a little blurb of that into this next newsletter? Because as a commissioner here, I would love to be able to point to when we have a public come in, which we've had here even since we've combined the same guy. But
Mr. Pelkey.
Mr. Pelkey, I'd love to be able to say though, well, that's not correct. They've removed 400 hours worth of buckthorn,
Yeah.
But we never could before until you told us that.
Yeah.
So if I just would like to put it in a newsletter, and I would really appreciate if you send me that or however you guys do that. I don't know. You just send it in or what?
I mean, these guys can submit directly to
Yeah.
as well, but if you want me to combine it with something that the Park Commission is doing, then
Is this newsletter, are they going all digital now, or is it still printed?
as far as I know, it's still.
Oh,
Thought it
So
would do.
No,
it is,
I'm just thinking there'd be more, usually they were kind of limited on space with the printed one, put so much stuff out there, that's what I'm just saying, if it's digital one, even.
it is primarily going to be digital. However, the next version of the newsletter will have an opt-in if you want to continue receiving a mailed copy to your residents.
are they gonna send out like the rec department sends like a little card that says the next time you can register? They don't send their booklet out anymore. Is the city gonna do that so they know when the newsletter's coming out?
I don't believe so.
When was this?
It was on the newsletter last time I
Yeah,
got
it's
it.
in the newsletter.
It just said that the 2025 version.
2026.
6, sorry.
Huh. I missed that too.
It will
I
be
saw it.
primarily the digital version. There will be printed copies available at the library, at City Hall, at the senior luncheon. And if someone is inclined to like, you know what, I just want to stay home and I want to get it like I've always gotten it for years and years and years, you can opt in and say, I live at this address and I would like to continue receiving.
There you go.
To do, but
Yeah.
figure it out.
Have to be published.
And I just want to clarify. So, you guys are looking for sponsors and people to try to make Franklin help, but part of Harvard.
Yep, so I will, so that Commissioner, I have to put a email address in the newsletter. I will put mine and then
Okay.
I'll probably CC you as an
Okay.
FYI.
A copy of that's in the packet. too,
Yeah, I saw that email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of what that email will look like.
Yeah.
Do you want to be included on those emails too, or?
Yes. Typically, even if it's rain or shine, if there's stuff going inside, we'll still be inside based underneath the canopy, so there's some visible presence of this event still going on. However, we're not making the mess with the tree stuff inside.
Yeah, they probably
So,
will.
yeah, we'll
If
stay
it's
outside.
raining, you guys can still be on the.
Right,
can still be-
yeah.
Yeah.
Since there's only limited space
Yeah.
up there, usually only like room for 2 tables underneath the actual
Yeah.
covers.
Hopefully it'll be a
Also
nice
plan.
day.
It's been
We've
very
had a
hit and
couple
miss.
rainy days, yeah.
It's usually super windy, no matter what. If it's nice or rainy, it's super windy.
Okay.
Any other comments on Arbor Day? All right, the discussion of the combined Parks Environmental Commission, is there anything new on that, or we kind of just?
So I passed out the updated version of your recommendation form
Yep.
for there's not a slide for it, but I passed out an updated version of your recommendation form with the comments from the previous meeting incorporated into this. So
Is this the natural resource special exception?
correct. So this is the recommendation that this commission makes to the plan commission. So I'm hoping this kind of encapsulates the feedback that you guys gave me.
Oh, there's some over.
No, yeah. I just have a copy for myself. Change paper. So I didn't do any track changes to this. It's basically this information at the top is what's different. And then I corrected the commission throughout. So
And you said you're talking this.
it was passed out. So that's the application
Oh.
form.
Tonight?
Yes.
Oh, here, this part, I didn't see.
Yeah, so it's this with the red.
Oh, okay.
It says draft.
Okay.
The application form is actually something that staff create. So this is this commission's recommendation to the plan commission. So what has changed from the previous meeting? Previously, you were presented with this, and it was this review criteria with the applicant's response and the commission finding as the pieces of information that become part of the recommendation, and then your recommendation here of approval or denial, if there are any conditions, etc. So that means what's new is this developer information. So it's the applicant who might be different from the developer, but is most commonly the developer. Sometimes it's the property owner, but then someone else is doing the development. Address and tax key of the property, developer's information, and then the natural resource protection plan authors and credentials. So that would include any wetland delineators, arborists, etc., that work on the production of that, or engineers. Often those drawings are stamped. So whoever's worked on it, they're required to provide that information.
Can we spell that out?
It
NRP.
varies.
Yes.
So we could
People
do
don't know what
that.
that means.
I
I
don't
don't-
just write out the word.
Write out the
Yeah.
word.
And then
Yeah.
put the parentheses
You
after.
put the parentheses
so if it's
after, but
anywhere.
I don't think.
Yeah. I thought you were meant something different.
No, it's fine. I just think this isn't for you. It's for the applicant and us. And we don't know what you mean when you say NRP. Or maybe you guys do, actually.
Yep, so a natural resource protection plan, this is a required document for the application. It's also a required document for any development application for non-residential development or like subdivision plats and certified survey map decisions. So we require this document regardless of whether someone is impacting natural resources for most development applications. So this would be a list of like who prepared it, the credentials of the author. So then the existing conditions, a written description. So the natural resource protection plan is effectively a report and also a drawing, a map of all of the natural resources on the site. So that is, you get a drawing of the existing condition, but then we require a table from everyone that describes the area of natural resources. So you're looking at the drawing and you know that that's an acre. You're not just presented with a blob. So this would be like a text summary of all of the natural resources on site from that table.
Can we say that?
Where,
From
what do
the
you want to say?
table?
Where?
In the NRPP.
I'm sorry, I missed it, 30 minutes. Under what? are
She's
you
saying
under?
that this stuff is already in the NRPP.
Oh, existing conditions?
If they're gonna take it from the NRPP, I just want it to be said.
Yeah,
Existing natural resource features from the table in the NRPP.
Oh, I got you.
I'm just adding words to that sentence.
Just to clarify, so.
Yeah. I don't want somebody's opinion on it, I want it from the table
Yeah,
in
where
the
is it coming
data.
It's reasonable. Site history, including conservation easements, so planners usually produce some degree of site history of what was the prior development, like, is it a vacant lot, was there something else there? Have there been other approvals that might affect the natural resources or like evolutionary? So, kind of a description of the existing conditions, and then status of other agencies or permits. Most commonly, these are going to be Department of Natural Resource permits, specifically for water resource impacts. There are some federal permits that could be required depending on the type of resource. And this, the floodplain ordinance is separate, so it would probably not be FEMA, but sometimes there's a lab. So the Army Corps of Engineers is the most common federally. One thing I will say is, like, the local jurisdiction, the city, cannot issue a permit that supersedes another permit. So if a permit were denied by the Army Corps or the DNR, then the applicant would not be able to work. So my recommendation is always that they at least start that process so that they know that they are able to meet the basic requirements for whatever they're requesting. There are cases where there are natural resources that the city protects in a way that differs, so they might only need the local for certain kinds of projects. So it's possible that those are not required and would be not applicable in the field.
So historically, the ones that I've seen, often they're still waiting for permits from these other agencies that require them.
Yep.
And we've been asked as a commission, which I know we're like the first step on it, or we always were the first step after your office, to review a special exception. Is there a reason that we want to entertain this until they've received other permits from the required agency?
I generally am comfortable with an application that is in process because it shows that they are able to do the due diligence. But as I said, we're not able to supersede those. So then the approval becomes conditioned on those other. That is a standard condition that the other agencies.
Do they ever leverage the condition, oh, well, we've already got it passed through the city, we just need you to do this now, NRCS?
That
or
has
whatever?
not been shared with me. I don't think it would have any impact on the wetland.
Okay.
My interaction with them, because the wetland impacts is probably the frequent application that we see. My interactions with them have typically been that they have very specific criteria, and if you meet or you don't. So there is not a ton of flexibility, and they don't go through the same review process in this way. Mitigation standards are pretty specifically laid out, so ours mirror that to an extent, but then have some more aspects of what you would think of as being like a zoning application versus like the technical review that it's forward. What's the area? Some of that is outside of my knowledge base. Like,
But do you waste any time if this other group has to approve it? That, you know what I mean?
No.
Because would you even entertain it if they don't?
No.
No.
It would invalidate that aspect of the request. So but we leave that decision to the developer, where they want to take the risk first, because that's essentially weighing.
So if it goes through planning and it's all approved, then they get a permit from DNR, and there's requirements or something in it that is different
Yeah.
or more limiting than what the city, which I would imagine could very well be the case. Who's looking at that? Is it just solely up to the developer to do the right thing?
So when they receive their permits, I get a copy of them. They are usually sort of similarly presented. I'm sure you've seen, but it's here's the wetland. It's always, they have a smaller scope of just the physical wetland itself. So what's the scope of the impact and what is the area of it? And then I have not yet seen an application that reached the level of requiring DNR mitigation as well. So we haven't had an application like that where they've had to do like wetland banking or something like that. If it was off-site, as long as they're meeting the local requirements and they still have to do that additional piece, it would affect this approval at all. If something has changed, there is a possibility that it would have to go back through the process. So like if they're like, we're actually going to be impacting this other wetland in a different location on the site, we would just start them over. That hasn't happened yet, but that would be and going in circles like that is something like so. Maybe don't word it like that, Marianne. but they occasionally will create situations for themselves where they are repeating steps because they either didn't do due diligence in place or we're not able to meet the requirement. So there's some level of responsibility on the developer to provide complete information, etc. But we don't dictate who they go to first.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I guess the only thing I was thinking is you could dictate, we're not going to deal with the permit until you have all the approvals that you would need to do what you're asking us about.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess turns out it's on you, and so whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with
A lot of
that.
developers like to do
Curious.
as much work concurrently as possible because they're trying to complete approvals over a pretty tight timeline that has to do with that kind of thing.
I get that. My thinking is that when something doesn't go like they want it to go, then you or the city puts itself in the view of, well, I've already done all of this and I've already been approved, and now you're telling me that I got to go backwards. So I just,
That happens.
feel like you would remove yourself from that kind of situation if you did the linear process of approval. But once again, if it comes back to you and it's up to you to you specifically, then I guess that's
I will say, like, I see the
Your
logic
preference.
of what you're saying, and the direction we've received in general is that we should, let them feed in the order that works best for them. It's not doing something, trying to like skip steps. So they still have to go through our process, whatever it looks like. It doesn't matter. Start with us or not. That's between them and their engineer. But I truly will not, and I try not to, applications that have not at least moved along like a reasonable point in the permitting process in R, and I have been known to check with them as well, like actually. I can't. That is the thing. If I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Because the wetland stuff is really not very expertise. So. Other changes. So the next portion of this is that description of the applicant's request. So you have the existing conditions and then the proposed impacts. Again, this comes from a table that they should provide. And then the proposed compensation plan. This is something, but making it explicit that that's part of the finding. So
you'll add that? It's that same table in the NRPP?
yeah, so typically you see these presented as the total area of a natural resource, the proposed area of impact, and then the proposed compensation is just in an Excel table. And sometimes people will put in the various factors the compensation guide has a little bit more information about how that can be prepared and presented, but it's not something we're not like, you must do it this way, but I usually give someone an example.
So criteria for approval are I through VI, or I through V,
I threw VI.
I through VI. God, is there a reason we're using these Roman numerals?
Yeah, that's actually how it's listed in the ordinance. So,
Okay. Is this
if you-
from a section of the ordinance?
Yeah, it's this.
Section, oh, yeah, okay. And then do we ever get a definition of self-imposed?
The definition that we've been operating under, this is considered a type of variance. I think most people, the common understanding, like, you created the circumstances, applies. Just this is guidance from.
They signed it in. I mean, this is frustrating.
So self-imposed hardship, this is what's applicable to variances. An applicant may not claim a hardship because conditions are self-imposed. Examples include excavating a pond on a vacant lot and then arguing that location of the home, claiming hardship for a substandard lot after selling off portions that would have allowed building requirements, claiming a hardship that starting construction without required, claiming hardship after. And the citation here for law, state XO Markable Corp versus Board of Appeals. There's a couple of cases here. So this is. I can pull this down if we need to expand on this, but there's.
And where is that from?
This is a variance like guidance. I believe this is from University of Wisconsin at Eau Claire.
But it has to do with claiming a hardship?
Yeah, so
Oh, I thought you were passing these down.
yeah, I mean, if you guys want, so this is
Yeah, I'd
kind
like
of
to see
more information about what a variance is. So the Board of Zoning Appeals reviews the most common types of variances, which are for building permits. So like, can I encroach on a required setback, etc. But procedurally, the natural resource special exception is effectively a type of variance from the Unified Development Ordinance requirements for natural resources. So this is guidance that was created for Board of Zoning Appeals commissioners, but it has some kind of information about how to think about these types of applications. So I've got this either from the League of Municipalities. I'll be honest, I don't know where I got it from, but it's floating around in my files.
So this was what would be used to determine.
It's explanation for commissioners about like what are the kind of roles and responsibilities around a variance for how to review.
Where did you read that from? So I can read it later when I think. Self-imposed hardship.
Yep.
Page is that?
98. Bullet point 2.
I think this is something, if you wanted to produce kind of a definition to provide with this part of the document, it might be helpful to future as well. These are the standards applied. What is self-imposed? Yeah, it's funny because it's a common understanding of what it is, but in this context,
Well, I'm pretty sure I understand what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was self-imposed by every definition. So I guess that's where I'm, yeah. But that would be something that the city attorney should be weighing in. Right at the inception of a request, right?
The city, so the enforcement, like the powers of the zoning administrator take on a role, effectively a legal reviewer in that sense. Like he regulates the zoning administrator. He's delegated the authority to review against our ordinances. It's a little bit different than what the attorney.
So it'd be regular that should weigh in on whether the criteria are met or not.
Yeah, and there's some things specific to land use that an attorney is not always first. So while I am not an attorney and I'm not claiming to practice law, I am an AICP certified planner. I'm claiming to practice my work as a planner, and Regulo is also very qualified to help make these determinations and is empowered to do so by the ordinance. So actually by state law, the zoning administrator role. So. If there are other changes, do you want to see other changes incorporated into this and then make a decision about kind of adopting it as your recommendation form, or where are you guys at with this?
Let's talk about it next meeting, I think, one more time.
Okay.
Bring it back.
Yeah, I mean, just based on this conversation, I kind of wonder why is the criteria for approval in here? If it's Regulo or you that need to determine if it's met the criteria, why are we, I don't understand why we have anything to do with that and why it's in here.
That is kind of a question of all application of ordinances or applications on up. It's how much do we want the community itself to be enforcing that, or how much do you want staff to do it, those kinds of things. And I think it's important, especially when it comes to the compensation for these, that you, the community, are reviewing them, determining whether they think that the request is reasonable. Because we can make a determination about whether or not some of the criteria are met, but ultimately that question of reasonable is a decision that I don't the decider. There are applications that planning does review on where the clear-cut case of yes or no. But
I agree with what you're saying, that's what we're here to do, is weigh in on the actual request and what they're asking to do. But whether they've met the basic criteria to be able to come here and ask to have a special exception is based on case law and your guys' professional opinion, is what you just told me. So why should we have any, that should just be on your plate and Regulo's plate.
yeah, I mean, that's why we would be filling this out, but ultimately it's up to you guys to determine, do you agree with staff's interpretation? There are some things that are delegated to the group rather than staff, so it's...
I mean, I know that, Marion. What I'm saying is, yes, there are some things that are delegated to staff rather than a group, but everything you just told me said that's all delegated to staff, not the group. Right? About the criteria of whether the request met the basic requirements to be considered for a special exception.
Yeah. So,
Maybe I misheard you or I'm misunderstanding, but if I didn't, then I think it just messes up and clouds things when a commission is looking at something that you guys have already decided this has met the requirement for a special exception. Here's what they want to do, like the basic criteria. Here's what they want to do. Why do we want to fool around with that if you've already met? We just want to look at what they want to do and say, yeah, I think that sounds reasonable. What the mitigation sounds reasonable.
Sure.
This sounds good, you know.
So, I mean, we could leave those criteria out, or this. You could
I
have
don't know
this
what you all
staff comment.
So I think what you're kind of saying is that it's kind of like a safe, like one more last look at essentially your work, or whoever the planner's work is.
Yep.
And you're kind of saying, well, shit, maybe we don't need here. What you're saying, because they already seen it.
And they're the
that.
experts.
I'm just saying, yeah, if they're the experts about the criteria
Sure.
to ask for this,
Yeah.
exception to our ordinance, the criteria
Yep.
have been met. All we need to be presented with is, here is what they want to do, and then that's what we make
Sure.
a decision on. We don't decide, if I understood what was just said, we do not decide if they've met the criteria. If it's self-imposed, if it's,
So we would make a recommendation, but you might not agree. It's ultimately
unreasonably burdensome or negatively impacts the applicant's use of the property or those kinds of things.
Just out of curiosity, when someone fills this out, submits it to a planner, how many people go through that? Or is it primarily your planners?
The planner is responsible for the core review
Okay.
against by development ordinance. The
Sure.
application is reviewed by engineering inspection services.
So it's run through the
Yeah.
okay, the list. So what you're saying is we don't need to see that list, or we don't need to.
Well, I'm fine in seeing it.
Yeah.
But as far as this is an application that comes to it comes to this group, right?
Yes.
This is the part of it. It
Yeah,
includes
so-
the NRPP. So,
I guess the
Yeah.
way I look at it is it doesn't hurt to see it, but I understand where you're coming from on it's a lot.
I mean, what I'm hearing
So-
is that maybe this should be that the criteria for approval is the applicant response and staff comment on that. And then if you have a finding that differs, that get incorporated in. Because ultimately the recommendation is your recommendation.
Yeah.
My expertise is in what the ordinance says, but your expertise is in community.
Okay.
Would it be a cleaner version if instead of having staff recommendation, just staff findings? Because I think the word recommendation is a loaded term, and
That's
that
true.
may lead to a biases one way or another, be it for or against a developer, that may taint the lens of the application itself.
yeah, and I'm just thinking of this, and I think that's a good recommendation. In the idea, Marion, of, and everyone is, like, give us the information that we are supposed to comment and review on, but the things that are determined by staff or already decided, like, I don't,
Because, yeah, I
it,
think
it just clouds up this application, and I think if we clean this up to where it just has what we're supposed to deal with, these things will move through the processes a lot quicker. And remember, 2 months from now, we might have a new member, or we might have a new whatever, and then
you aldermanic
how long did you
representative.
all sit on your committees and go, what the heck does this mean? I did for like three times.
Yeah.
I had natural resource special exceptions coming in front of me, and I was like, wait, what are we doing here? What are we? So I'm just thinking about, like, unnecessary information just makes things more confusing. What does the commission need to deal with? And that's all I want to see, or would recommend that we put on this application. And then everything else you can get from the NRPP, right? If they have more questions, because some will want more details than others, but it's in the NRPP, look at that document.
I think I realize that this is long, but it really is meant to be the commission's findings, the ordinance requires. And so I would suggest having the applicant response, staff analysis, have a commission, Parks Commission finding. So that even if you are just like, that's fine, we agree with staff analysis, or we disagree with staff analysis.
So you want to add 3
Right.
to have what the application said, or what the applicant said, what city sees, and then write a recommendation on that.
Yep.
Okay, that
So,
makes sense.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a way to see what the applicant's bringing to the table, city sees, and then what we see. So it's more or less a place for us to gather information, and then we can write a recommendation.
Yep.
Okay.
So you'll add that to all where it says applicant response,
Yep.
commission finding, but in between you put city finding,
Staff and
staff analysis.
Yep, and then the final document, probably staff analysis, like the adopted document, but have the final.
Then I think now we'll make our edits and then bring it down next.
Yep, I will also, he's looked at this a couple of times, but, so.
All right. So moving on from that, then, everyone good on that section for now? Okay. So littering fines. So I never knew this. I found this out an hour ago, or 2 hours ago now, that the city actually doesn't have any littering fines in place on any scale. Am I correct on that? That's what you emailed me, so I want to make sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I went and looked at the littering ordinance again, and there's. no
Okay,
fines
so there was
stated.
nothing. So I kind of, before I came here, drafted up a letter, and it doesn't have to be approved today or whatnot. But just a starting point to at least have it. And I feel like this is something meaningful that we can do. To just throw it out there and hope it gets passed in law or whatever ordinance. Just because I feel like when everyone thinks environmental, I think trash is kind of one of the things that looks that way. And I think as a commission, and at least as a city, I guess if there is not a fine for it, if it's, we're not asking the police department to do the litter bug fines, but we're asking, hey, if you see someone throw a cup out the window, that's and I guess in my eyes it should be illegal or
There should be some sort of
yes, yeah, exactly,
accountability
yes,
for the actions.
exactly.
Isn't it illegal? Maybe
I
the
thought
city
it
doesn't
was.
have it,
Yeah.
but there are no fines. Not from the city, but from the state, like the police can enforce littering, can't they? I can't speak to what their authority would be. I don't know.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I can do some more research on it, but that's just where I was. I wrote that to, I don't even know who to start with, but it's just a big concern, but just
I can push this. I need to get a second alder to have something on a council agenda.
okay.
But I think needs to have something defined as far as
Okay.
it'd be great to have, okay, we'll say that yes, there should be a fine, but then my experience would be is that would pass
Mhm.
and then
It
it would
die.
just kind of languish and there wouldn't be anything defined
Sure.
as a result of
Okay.
So I think coming up with the what and like the severity and the enforcement mechanism and all that other
Sure.
stuff, that has to be
So
kind
maybe
of baked
find
into that.
findings from other cities or whatnot.
Right. What
Okay.
do neighboring municipalities do? What's their elevator as far as first offense, second, et cetera, et cetera? How is that going to be something that would be? Who do we empower? Is that a code enforcement? Is that the police? Is that the whom would be?
Yeah.
like where does the fine go? Is W added to their
operation fund, or does it
Yeah.
go
Okay.
to just the general fund?
I could see this being applicable to park permits. So like if there's like a really egregious, not just that we want to withhold their security deposit, but also,
Sure, if they make a
Issue a
big
fine.
mess or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's something I guess I'll work on as we go on. So
yeah, I would suggest, I think it's important to present comparables with other communities. So if you find examples of those, send them and, we'll compile them.
okay, cool. That's
So
all I have.
are you gonna do that, Jen?
Yeah, that's fine.
And then what are you doing, Jen?
When we have something that would be, that we feel very confident in, I would then take that proposal. I would need to get a second alder to support putting that on a council action sheet and the agenda, and then it would be moved to council for whether or not we would enact this as being part of municipal.
Do you think that's cool?
I think it is.
Okay.
Actually, the commission can put items on the council agenda. So especially if you're the sponsor of legislation, that's a lot. But the commission can forward an item for consideration, like with the park. So you don't need to find a second, but if you want to, please.
Doesn't hurt.
I would say I would be able to do that, and I think I can think of 2 to 3 that I would be able to kind of hit up and say, hey, I would really like this to be a discussion or actionable item.
Yeah, sure. That's all I have on that.
Did we do C and D?
I thought we did.
I
You
thought
mean?
we did I. And are you talking?
I'm sorry.
I'm talking about our agenda. I
Yeah.
don't think we've covered C or D. We talked about I, the form, review of the form.
I'm sorry, guys. I
That's
skipped
okay.
right over that one. D is what.
I don't even think we finished C,
We
did we?
didn't do
Scope
C.
and purpose of combined commission. Areas of, is that something you were gonna, Marion's gonna do?
So this is
I'm all over
something.
the place. I'm sorry.
I think
Is this where I get my flow chart finally?
Possibly.
Hey.
So this was the natural resource special exception, which kind of explains what the process is.
So is that I?
Yeah.
Then what did we do?
Just did literally.
No, but
Oh.
before that, I put it on that draft form.
That was.
But that's not in our packet.
So the
No,
one you just wrote
I
was
didn't have
I.
time to get that ready for the
And I said
packet.
C for notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this one now is.
So I think we should put it in the packet.
Sure. Do it happily.
That's
What?
this thing, I think, it's important for us to have in our packet.
I agree.
Yeah, I didn't have this ready in order to get it out in time, so later. No, but this is what the process. But so the application submittal.
We're gonna table it again. This is the
This is-
third time we're gonna table it,
No,
so y'all
That's
know.
this
the way
says
we-
scope and purpose.
Been doing it.
So I'm confused. What was the letter that we did where we just talked about the NRPP, that draft document with the variance? What letter was that?
That was the
CI.
review of the commission.
CI, here.
Yep.
Review the
Okay.
recommendation.
And which are we talking about right now?
The
C itself.
C itself.
I'm sorry, guys. That's completely.
That's all right.
All right. So we're gonna table C? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, Commissioner Stanley is not here this evening, and she was sort of leading this discussion, but this is the slide I put together for this, which is the scope, purpose, powers, and duties. So this is essentially like what the commission is empowered to do. Appoint agents and employees,
a lot of this is subject to common council approval, but agents and employees subject to common council approval to carry out the function of the commission. You have charge and supervision of all city parks and recreation programs subject to their approval. I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but is this not in our packet? Correct. And we table that, I make a motion that we table this to next time when Commissioner Stanley's
Both of
here.
those pages.
Both of
Sure.
those. Okay.
I'll
What, both of what pages? I've only seen.
Oh,
one.
in the slides.
This is the
Tables-
prior one.
Item C on unfinished business is
Okay.
going to be that's what I'm making a motion to table, so that we can review the 2 slides prior to the meeting I want to call you
Marion.
Commissioner X. I know.
Please don't.
But you're not, I know. That Marion's gonna provide to us next time.
And then I'll second. So all those in favor to table this, so it's,
I don't even know if we need a motion, but
Yeah,
yes.
you do.
Okay.
alright, so, all
First and
those-
second.
First, second,
Yeah.
alright, all those
Is
in
there
favor?
more than the 2? Marion?
I honestly don't remember what I prepared. So there's this, which I think you guys would probably like to have done. And this, which is the process better. So yeah, those 3 slides is what I would.
3 slides?
Yep.
Marion will provide.
Alright,
I interrupted.
you're
You were
good.
taking.
No, that's, further discussion is always welcome before the vote is.
Did we say everybody?
We did not make it
We
there
didn't,
yet.
because
Alright,
I
all those in
interrupted.
favor then?
Aye.
Aye. All those not in favor, then the motion is passed. Alright, so we did okay, so now we're on D.
Yeah, so Commissioner Stanley sent me some changes. I have, and she provided me a couple of other information for that, and I have notes from the previous meeting. But due to the holidays, I have not had time to make those changes to the compensation guide, so
So,
I would request that you do it. And I've provided you. Yep. You said Stanley. Oh, sorry. I didn't know if she did too. No, she.
So it was
no,
you,
actually, you're
Amy?
the only person that has. Oh, so if anyone has anything they would like to recommend
This
or
is an
comment on,
important one.
she should read it.
it's
Maybe,
long.
I'm guessing. So I'll make the first motion.
I'll second.
Alright, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those not in favor? The motion is passed. Alright, and now we did E, going to F now, which I thought we did
I
already.
think we did.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a motion on that last week.
Yeah.
It was,
What?
yeah, it was dead last.
Oh, the littering?
No,
Nope.
one more.
Lake Learning.
Oh, yeah,
That
we
should be
did.
going up to
I
planning.
thought maybe it went to council and somebody
I
had
did
something
too.
they wanted to bring
It
back.
was
Not
No.
yet.
Marion
Marion was going to put it,
will,
Yeah, it'll
will
be on the
couldn't
next
do
agenda.
December, and she was going to do January, and didn't done yet.
Oh, yeah, you were gonna take it to council.
Yep.
So we'll see that at council probably January 20th.
That's correct.
So it's just telling us we're going January.
Yep.
That's-
To
yeah.
council.
The update.
Okay.
So then we don't have to vote on that. Down to G now, park facilities, reservation and permitting policies. Discussion of the policies for age sports groups. Fees, rules, and policies for the parks.
I saw you had.
So this commission had previously taken a decision to limit who can make certain kinds of reservations. So I provided them.
I saw that.
So, I mean, this was your, this commission.
7:35.
Yep.
What am I looking at? Because I printed it off, but I don't know what I'm looking
It's highlighted.
at.
It's under C.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, and I was getting a little bit confused with, when I saw this, with the document that Karen made, was kind of went over rules of the courts about, I don't know, not bringing stuff into the courts and stuff like that, but,
There are not really like adopted rules, you know, this
Yeah.
commission can make those rules. But they haven't been like. And in
Well-
fact, there really is no comprehensive body of parks. That's kind of why
I think she was taking it from what other parks were doing.
yeah. It seems to me that if somebody wants to use the courts, and I do think it's a good idea, if they want to have a tournament or something. I'm not saying every weekend, but I think, 2 times a year, 3 times a year. And they're wanting to use, I do think they should have to pay this. For that. Otherwise, you're just saying, oh, sure, have a tournament, but supposedly you aren't supposed to charge. And they do, that's what they have tournaments. People get into tournaments. You pay to get in a tournament. Somebody's going to make money, whether it's a nonprofit like that Ben from Whitewater had, his pickleball club. I don't know what was the 4th of July, but is that like a rule? Because why did they have that rule? That whoever's using the courts can't make any money.
there's a no sales rule throughout the park. I'm not told the history as well.
I'm sure the history goes back before the pickleball days.
Yes.
Isn't there something too, if you take money at an event, the liability shifts? Or is versus a public space that is tax funded? So if somebody gets hurt and that played in a tournament that they paid to play in, whatever, because there was whatever, they trip over a ball or they run back, and I'm not saying it should, but I think there is, and I'm not a lawyer either, but I think there is something with the shift of liability.
Yeah. I know
And
that
that
there's
may be why they don't ever want to allow
New
that.
Berlin hosts tournaments. Muskego hosts tournaments.
Maybe they have a waiver then that
A
you sign
lot of
too.
places host tournaments.
Yeah. So you probably need a waiver. I mean, even the library, you have to sign a waiver
But
to
then,
do yoga.
yeah, if you had a waiver, but though I do think this city should get some money if they're going to do a tournament. They can make some money, but they should pay for those use of the courts all day.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I just think there's other things that's got to be done too, like
Yeah,
you know,
I'm sure. Yeah.
insurance.
You can't rent a park and make money. Because it's a public park. You can't.
You can't
But
rent
how
it
does
out.
how does the other
So then the
cities
tournament
get away with that?
provider could rent it using the funds, right?
You rent a park, but then you can't turn around and charge someone to use it.
Oh, I thought you said you can't make
If
money
the
off
person renting the park pays the city, but they can't then turn around and start selling
it. I see.
whatever you
Well,
want.
I'm saying, say an entry fee for the tournament. Then how does New Berlin get away with that? Muskego get away with
Ask
that?
them.
I would have.
Yeah, good
I
question.
mean, yeah, maybe they pay it directly to the.
I should say we've
City.
never allowed it. That
Should I
we,
try to
that
get
we're
some
been made
information?
aware of.
I think that's
Past,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try to
Maybe,
get a
maybe
hold
they
of them.
take the tournament fees. Maybe the city takes it. The tournament.
Oh,
fees
I've
directly.
seen, I don't know, remember that lady, I thought her name was Kelly. And she was doing a lot of lessons, and she was doing tournaments, hosting them. I'll try
Maybe
to, I'll
if I
get a
saw her.
hold of New Berlin.
I would also maybe recommend looking at other municipalities as well, because if it's only built off of what one place is doing, they may be the one-off
Okay.
versus, if like New Berlin is doing it, but Greendale is not, and Greenfield is not. Well, then it points more to them being the outlier rather than us building
Right.
policy based off of.
I could
the-
try Muskego also. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of places don't have outdoor pickleball courts. I mean, really,
But I think that's a good
Franklin
idea,
is
is
like
to
the
start
diamond
there
of
and find
pickleball.
out
Doesn't
how they do it.
Greendale though?
Greendale doesn't have pickleball. Oh, I'm correct. They have 2 courts that are striped on the community center
On 70,
on 76. 2
Yeah.
courts, but they don't run tournaments with just 2 courts. I'll try to get New Berlin and Muskego at least as a start.
You check with the county as well.
Oh, county. Okay. Who would I call on the county? Can I ask at the sports complex?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because that's the.
What's
sports
their
complex.
rule on?
They have, you
just
can rent
find
out the
what
whole.
it is.
Just call Mike too.
Who?
Mike would know
Like,
That's true.
French.
and Crunch.
oh yeah.
Lately of the parks.
What do you know?
Commission.
He works for the county?
He runs the parks.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So about how they what they do, how they charge.
Their policy and practice.
So there's 2 different things. One is if you rent a pavilion for your private event, you also get approval to have or reserve the associated pickleball courts. That was one question that you guys had, right? The other is this one of, can they rent out the pickleball courts for tournaments and what surrounds that? Those to me are 2 different things. Because one, they're taking money for, a tournament. So I guess what I'm saying is we need to know what are you guys suggesting are the rules surrounding those 2 different circumstances?
If they're accepting money, they would also send a show certificate of liability insurance to us.
The county requires. But then there's also so-and-so's graduation party. Can we have this pavilion with these 2 pickleball courts? That was another question that had come up, right?
Well, that's what we've done in the past. I don't know if it was a question, but
Oh.
that's kind of, we said it was a one-off that we kind of said, well, they were having a party, so we made a exception to those courts. It wasn't.
I know. I thought those were the things that we wanted to finally make rules on and be done with.
What was the rule that you made was that court facilities may be reserved for private events, part of the subject to approval by you.
Okay. This was before I was on this, I guess. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So that's already been decided.
But I guess
Why are we still talking about that?
that would be different than
That's
because of
different,
that,
yeah.
what happened in the summertime with that group coming in and they just let them have the courts over the 4th of July.
That wasn't a private event though. So that's different
Yeah.
than this. This still stands. Private event that rents the pavilion can also reserve the courts if they get approval from Parks. From this
Maybe
commission.
reserved. Yeah,
If they get
Subject to
approval from this
approval.
commission.
yeah.
So I guess that's the other thing that we need to clarify with the city clerk, because that's where the other confusion came in is she sent that guy in here, but he wasn't a private event renting a pavilion.
No, he wanted to do it.
So we just need to make sure they know, private event, you rent the pavilion, you can request to rent the courts, but that's who's got to show up here. Right?
Yeah,
You
that-
think- you
'cause
think that was a
I'm just
private event?
following.
That was not a private event.
No.
I'm just saying she didn't know because she sent him
Oh,
here.
I see what you're saying.
If we
yeah.
clarify with the clerk's office, she's not going to send people here with public events. It's private only. So can you let them know that, Marion? Just
I thought,
remind
yeah.
them that that's the only circumstance somebody needs to come here right now about a pickleball or tennis court, so we're not wasting people's time.
good on that then for but we'll have that revised for the next meeting.
Wait. Alright, what's gonna be changed?
No, nothing I guess is changed. We're just making it clear. Clerk's office was going.
That and Susan's gonna do a little
And then-
digging as far as
Yeah.
what.
Yeah, just pause.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Next one then. We're on to new business now. Materials for the newsletter. I guess we talked about the Arbor Day information. And that's in the newsletter, Marion, already?
If I may, so in your packets, there is what was traditionally put in, which has been updated for this year. This is what Lisa for you. Commissioner Serafin did more with the library. So that language is also in the packet. This Arbor Day event expanded booth spaces. So this would be, would you want them to go together? Like, tell me what to send to be published in the newsletter. And then also there's the buckthorn material that you provided.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be, that can be in whenever we need something.
Okay.
Just so we don't, that was just a filler that I made for whatever, because I know we've had requests from the community.
I mean, this time,
About
this
it before.
newsletter is a good time to remind them how to identify it.
Mm-hmm.
It'll start coming up. Right
So
on
when does the Arbor Day one go in? This next coming?
in the next one.
Okay.
So both
I
of these
mean,
need to go.
I think that's fine to put them both.
Okay. Yeah.
I
would
almost
too,
think you
yeah.
could say at the end of the buckthorn thing is join us for the Arbor Day to learn more
Learn
about
more or
buckthorn.
something? Yeah, that's,
Oh, yeah,
You
that
know?
would be
that's
good.
perfectly fine.
Join us for our
More about buckthorn removal.
Everyone's favorite.
I don't know if I know what it was.
And then we could just do a park station table, buckthorn.
Yeah.
I would like
And
that.
then focus solely on here's what it looks like and here's the different ways to get rid of it.
I hate to break it to you, but once you get
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's gonna ruin,
I know,
it's
and
gonna
it's
ruin your
everywhere.
life.
Well, there's
Like a
different
horror
looks to
movie?
it, though. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some with berries, and lots of it has no berries on it, and you know,
Yeah,
it
Does it
looks
have prickles
different.
on it? I wonder if I have some in my yard.
Almost
I'll
certainly.
put money on it.
I would bet the mortgage.
Although the woods by you is very clean. I did not see.
Well, they cleaned a whole bunch out
Yeah,
of there.
that trail and everything looks great. I didn't see any of it in October.
Just out of curiosity for the DPW guys, what would you say the percentage of public land is buckthorn? Do you have a number or none at all? Or maybe
for the city.
I try going through it by park, and it
Sure.
just varies so much.
Yeah, I was just curious. I
I
mean,
even measured out, like, for example, let's say Washington Park of like the wooded areas was like 3 acres. I'd say 80%.
okay.
80? Wow.
Pretty much any understory that's in any park or public land or even on Indian land is about.
Sure.
Does fire wipe it out, or what is
If
it
it's young enough, it does.
for the young?
So when we did the prairie burn, you're expected to get 20 to 30% back of it, and constantly mowing it every year. So young shoots, this probably close to like 80%. So they're
What?
Yeah.
but it's hard to get fire in all those other areas. So
Yeah.
it's kind of limited to those grassy, open spaces. Just let a low fire go.
Yeah. Would a community day pulling or cutting help you guys in any way, or is that just creating too much liability?
It's a nice idea, but
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we did something with our school. When I was in 6th grade, I went to Ben Franklin. I think you guys helped way back in the. Well, I'm not that old, so 6th grade. I don't know. But we cleaned out. We partnered with the Ware Nature Center. I'm guessing you guys had to be there too. We went through that whole section of woods on Imperial Drive. Because I think you guys came and chipped it because we left piles of it back in the day. But that was through the school versus, so then that's kind of the school's liability and stuff like that. Obviously, the city wants nothing to do with that, so. Okay. Yeah, I was just curious about that. It's pretty much do it on your own because it's too much for the city.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
when this commission took up the question of potentially turning it into just
Yeah.
local ordinances,
Yeah,
The
that's
county
right when I
was
just got
like-
here. Yeah.
you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like-
Okay.
And I recently learned this may be apocryphal, but the designer of the county park system was Frederick Law Olmsted, who was also a very famous park designer, and it was one of his preferred plants.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
that's possibly one reason why.
Sure.
And that's how most of our invasive have got here. Honeysuckle was a hedgerow, favorite hedgerows under us.
Yes. Yep.
And then, so Jesse's article went in, and then,
And then the arbor.
Yeah.
as
the
well.
only thing it says the environmental commission.
Oh, yeah, we got to change that.
You're in.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
So on, let me figure out what page is that? So on the Arbor Day, the one with the highlighted yellow, we just have to get it switched from the courtesy of the City of Franklin and the Franklin Parks Commission, not environmental. That's the only edit. Good catch.
Yeah, thank you. I'll follow up with and add.
Is that pretty good on that then, for the most part?
So then there's this thing about the Arbor event. Do we know how many Arbor Days there have been? It's the join the fun at the X annual Arbor Day celebration.
I would think it's gonna probably coincide with one of your days.
You feel comfortable saying 25th year?
Where's that?
Somebody's gonna check up on you.
Somebody will.
I wouldn't
Somebody
be
will,
offended.
yeah. You know where we
Nobody
live?
cares.
Or you can just meet
Unless
at our
unless,
annual.
requirement added by Tree City later on, but I know as long as
Right.
Tree City.
Arbor
I've been
Day
here
celebration.
15 years and we've had them for 15, so haven't been spent here long.
So to have this go after, like this Arbor Day, and just have this after, and then it is my habit to just let Lisa do whatever she in terms of layout, right?
Yeah.
So, but this is something the library should also vetted. We would not want them. Cool.
And
Did
then-
you find anything out about food vendors being allowed or not? The library is all for it.
I don't know if
They're for it?
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
She said that'd be great. Yeah, and I am too. Get a cup of coffee or an egg, have
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
come for for an egg sandwich or do a whatever. I mean, I don't know who might want to, but
Maybe some scout troops.
oh, that's a good idea. Kristen's really involved with the Boy Scout stuff. Her son's going for his Eagle this year, and they do stuff at St. Martin's Fair for fundraising.
Yeah, yeah. So
Coffee
Marion,
and
you're gonna
cocoa
check?
or
well, does DPW have a thought about allowing food at the event?
Oh,
I've never been in person, so
oh,
I
the
don't know.
DPW, you have to say?
for the Arbor Day,
for
Arbor
no,
Day
yeah,
at the library.
the library, and the health.
I can check with health department.
was a woman here earlier. Anybody know why, what she was on the coming for?
My guess would be usually you get a lot of scouts that do government interaction badges and just observing a meeting and how the workflow goes through.
Something like that.
I usually get like 2 scouts a year that ask me, hey, I have
Yeah, I think she was from school.
Filling an assignment.
Yep. Doing this.
Oh, I'm trying to think what class it was. High school wasn't that far away, and I feel like I forgot it all.
But you remember clearing buckthorn and
I do in 6th grade. It was such a
What do you
big
use
project.
for manpower? Do you use DPW?
Yeah, usually we go there with our heavy equipment. We have a big rotary mower and that goes in. Us and the excavators grab it and pull it out and get it. Very labor.
Endless supply of it.
Yeah, no shortage of it.
You can't do it in the winter.
No, that's when we do a lot of it.
Well, you do.
Yeah, but right now we had the big snowstorms. They got warm, so the ground's not really frozen. So maybe driving the equipment through the parks. Freezes up. I mean, there's not too. I get with it.
And I think I brought this up, but so for new business, B, communications, the City of Friends website, discussion of city parks and pages. I put this in here, I think, early on, and I didn't get to what I wanted to do with it. But I'd like to make it look a little bit better, add some pizzazz to it.
City Park web.
Yeah.
So I want to just quickly show you. There are 2 places where there's 2 places on the city website that have kind of parks information. One is Parks and Recreation page, and then the other is your page on the website. This commission. So you, the commission, can edit
This one?
this page and make changes to it or post documents, etc., without going through. So if you want something on here, I just send it to Lisa and she posts it on the website.
And it's called Park.
Yeah, this is the Parks Commission's page of the website. So this is that form that you guys looked at a couple months ago. At your suggestion, we placed it here. The coloring sheet. There's other. Separately, there is this website, the Parks and Recreation portion of the website, that has information about the pavilion, rental, etc. So this would be something that if you wanted to make changes to it, it would require collaboration with DPW and the clerk's office, which isn't to say that it's not possible. It's just
more
that
hoops.
be
Okay.
aware that there's
Yeah.
more. So, and overall, I think the city is aware generally the website is
Plan.
and difficult to navigate.
Sure.
There's lots of
It
different.
is.
Yeah. But I'm not familiar with the plan to modernize it.
Sure.
So for now, this is what you have. Like, if you're proposing a whole new platform or whatever, that's way beyond your scope.
No, I was
so.
just made, yeah.
So is the environmental commission was still in that list? Doesn't that need to be combined? And
It's there as, so the portion of the website is still there as the archive of your legislation. So your agendas, minutes, packets, all of that stuff is still there.
So
So
there's some law that
yeah, and because the city doesn't have like it doesn't have like some cities have tools to store legislative records where you can like what's the file number, blah, blah,
Gotcha.
blah. It's just this website, so it was like in order to make sure that all of the actions of that commission were preserved as part of the public record and to access by I recommended that we leave it off. So
Until we transition to, say, board docs, which
Right.
all the schools use to house their agendas and all their minutes and all their subcommittees, until we have something like that, it still has to be maintained for record keeping, and I think
Should there be some kind of notation there?
I thought there
that-
was.
yeah, I think we put something there. I don't remember.
that says that it's being used as an archive.
I thought there was something that said it, that they combined.
Right, but but what is still there is being
It's
used
archived.
Yeah.
as an
Sure,
archive.
sure.
Okay. Sounds
So it does say, please see folks.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
So that's everything on the agenda. So I think,
Wait,
I guess we're tabling it for now.
No action is needed
No
because there's
actions.
nothing,
Yeah.
it's just a discussion.
this, you're talking?
Yes.
Elected officials boards?
Yeah, I mean, if
Is
there's
that
changes
supposed
you
to be
want to
in
make to your
I got a whole bunch of others.
Oh, I don't think that's
Maybe they weren't
ours.
supposed to be in here. I got, Parks Commission, and it gives a website, elected officials, boards, commissions, board commission.
Oh, so I put
That's
the
the
actual
adverts,
links in
the
the
link to
agenda,
So we're just looking at.
so that you could, so that they were in the agenda, so people could see what we're specifically.
This
talking
isn't a
about.
topic.
No, and I mean, you could, if you wanted to make changes to one of these pages, that would be.
Oh, that's what you were talking
So, yeah,
about.
so
I was
we're-
back on City of Franklin website.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, same.
E-
Um, so
and then
it's the same.
same
Yep.
thing.
Yep. So before we close for D, real quick, I wanted to talk about this real quick.
What is D?
On unfinished business that we talked about. Just so we're all on the same page. So the introduction, because we tabled it, but I want to, for next time, I want to clarify something. The draft guide for adoption, that form is on what page of the agenda? And what were we looking
So,
Page
yeah, I didn't give you a copy of it because I hadn't made any changes, but
Okay.
at your previous meeting, you got this in your
Yes.
packet.
Okay.
Oh,
And if you want a paper copy, we can
Take a
certainly
picture of
print those
that.
out.
I have one. I didn't see.
Okay, yeah, I know, because I
Okay.
also.
This is what I sent her comments on, that she
Yes.
was asking for you guys to also
So I know
comment
what page we're
on. So
It's
when
a
someone,
standalone document.
Okay.
when someone fills out a thing, you get a special exception
Yep.
for a natural resource.
That's what I have to fill out.
They don't. This is the guidance of,
Guidance.
here's the trees you can use, here's the buffer requirements,
Okay.
here's the blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
That's what,
Okay, cool. Because
Yep.
I do want to. Anything else, or are we all good here?
it's all.
All right.
so you're gonna bring an updated version of this?
Yep, I will make changes and distribute them. I'll probably work on it later this week, actually, because I just didn't get it. And then send out the updated draft if you want printed copies. Grab them.
I just want the updated so I can get rid of these notes and then go to
Yep.
the next version. Because that was one of them right here. This has to go for a motion, right? We talked about a
Yeah.
motion to change the UDO. It's this table that
Yep.
reduced the mitigation from, you cut down a tree, you replace it with 1.5 trees.
Mhm.
This says you replace it with 0.75
0.75
trees, and that's what we needed.
Yep.
That's a mistake, I think.
Okay.
So is that how it'll be presented to them, Mary? I'm sorry, but in this document, or do we actually need to?
So this change, so the document itself is an administrative policy that will be adopted by Common Council, and then you are the administrators. So if there's future changes, you would review. And then if you feel like common council needs to weigh in on it again. But this is actually a part of
This table is
This
from
table
the
is from the
ordinance, and that's,
So you separately, you will have to propose a video text amendment, which is something that is certainly
so
within.
I need to write that down because, okay, I'm gonna do that next time. UDO text amendment.
Yep, and so you'd be saying, I want to amend table blah blah, this section of it.
Yeah, I wrote it in here in my notes to you,
Yep,
but
yeah,
And I
so,
said-
and that's something we
yeah.
can work on, so if there's other things that you find that you're like, I think we should change this, that are actually from the code.
Okay.
So there's examples, for example, the buffers as they're described in here, but that's from the ordinance. So in some ways, this is duplicating pieces of the ordinance. I don't remember to what extent we cited everything, but it's kind of logical. But then like the plant list, something that is not, we're not going to put that in the ordinance because it's subject to change and
Sure.
it would be better for you guys to supervise that.
Have you looked at
Are we adjourned?
I can't remember which one it was.
The tree list is from
Pretty
you.
soon.
All right, and
This is what
part
we
of
worked
it-
on with JB. So he's been over it at least once,
Yeah,
whether you remember it or
it
not.
sounds familiar.
Yeah.
It was a while ago.
It's been a minute.
Do we have a motion?
Correct.
A motion to adjourn,
I'll make that motion.
right?
Second?
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those not in
Kevin.
favor?
What
All
about
right, motion is passed.
116th
We
Street?
ended at 8:07.
116th Street Trail.